and welcome to Churchy Chats with the Church Girl. I am so excited that you have tuned in this evening. We have a great show lined up for you. First, let me introduce myself. My name is Alicia Wiley. If this is your first time here, I am the owner and creator of a Church Girl, which is a clothing line and a lifestyle brand that seeks to inspire and uplift everyone we have the privilege of connecting with. I'm excited because this is season 2 of Churchy Chats, and we are now airing on YouTube, on Facebook, and on Twitter. So wherever your favorite place to view is, we are there. Make sure you are following us on all of these platforms so you don't miss a thing. And make sure you click, like, and share this broadcast because, as I said, we have a fun show coming up. Let's not wait any longer to get our guest in here. I am so excited. Let me get him in here first before I start talking. Hey Frank, how you doing?
Hola. Hello, hello, hello.
Welcome to Churchy Chats.
Thank you for having me.
So go on and introduce yourself to the Churchy Chats audience.
Hello, Churchy Chats. I am comedian Frank White. Um, you may have seen me with my skits, the NOLA Bible version. I do comedy in New Orleans and all over the country. And that's me, comedian Frank White.
And I'm so excited to have you. And I'm going to tell the audience, I actually didn't realize Frank was who he was back in like 2017. It might have been 16, but I think it was 17. We had a Christian comedy stand up night at my church.
Mm-hmm.
And I know his wife. So when I saw his wife, I was like, girl, what are you doing here? And she was like, Frank, my husband. I was like, get out of here. So I didn't even put two and two together until they recently did a skit together, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like, man, come on, that's
Small
Frank. So,
world, huh? Small
small
world.
world. So, we're going to jump right into it. Before we do, though, I actually want to just go on and show people. I've been talking about it like in every post about this show. I've been talking about your NOLA Bible version. So, for those of you who have not had an opportunity to see it, you have no clue what I'm talking about, I want to introduce it to you straight out of the gate. So let's do one of your skits and then we'll come back in and jump into the conversation.
Sounds good.
Okay, so that's just one of his most recent skits, and we're going to show you some more throughout the show. But I wanted you to get an idea of what Frank does, and that's not all he does. But let's get into the conversation. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so my first question to you is how or at what point in your life, like, did you always know you wanted to be a comedian, or at what point in your life did you feel that you wanted to? I mean, because you do stand up, you do skits, you do it all.
Right. Well, I always loved comedy. I could say that for
Mm-hmm.
sure. I always loved comedy. I didn't think of it as like a real possibility, I guess, growing up. That wasn't like a
Mm-hmm.
focus, like I want to be a comedian. Until family members started pushing, saying that I should do it. That I joke like that and I clown and I'm doing it already and I should do it. So that's
Okay.
what really pushed me. Probably like in 2012, my cousin had a
Okay.
had a through a comedy show and he made me get on stage.
Wow. So you kind of threw you in the water.
Yeah, he threw me. Well, he gave me a heads up. He kept pushing and he put me on. That was my first comedy show, and so he threw me up, threw me out there, and it was either you was gonna be funny or you was gonna fail.
Right. And that was actually going to be my next question is how you got started once you decided that you wanted to do it. So basically your family had a lot to do with you doing this, with
Oh
this
yeah, I
being
owe it.
your career. Is it okay, let me
Right.
ask that. Is this what you do exclusively?
I'm a barber as well. I cut hair,
Okay.
and so
Okay.
so that's already a comedy spot already. So I cut hair and do comedy. That's my two gigs. Comedy is definitely more of my passion. Though. That's number one in my heart.
Okay. So let me ask you this. For people who are interested in launching into the arts, for you, you had a supportive family, your friends and your family were
Hmm.
supportive for you to go into the arts. But for many people, they feel like it's not a real way of living or it's a pipe dream. How do
Hmm.
you have any words of encouragement for people who want to do it, but maybe people aren't as
Uh,
supportive as your family was?
well, my family, it wasn't. They suggested it. It always
Okay.
starts with you though. I mean, if you think it's a pipe dream and if you think that you're probably not gonna be able to do it, then you're not gonna be able to do it. That's a fact. That's for sure. So it starts with
Right.
you saying and knowing. I knew I could do it. It was just an extra nudge. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody might have opened the door, but you always got to walk through it. So and is you're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days. That's gonna happen in anything that you do. And if it's something that you feel like you could do, it's probably not worth
Mhm.
doing. You know what I'm saying? It's probably not gonna
Yeah.
the payoff not gonna be as huge. So you gotta shoot for the stars and land on the moon.
You're right. So let me ask you this. I know
Yeah.
for public figures, people expect you to always be the funny person, to always have the pressure,
Hmm.
of always making them laugh. Do you feel that? Like, do you feel like people always
No,
want you to be cracking jokes?
not necessarily. Not necessarily. I come from a funny family, so most of the time it's
Okay.
jokes going back and forth where I'm at. And as far as the pressure of being funny, it's me. So it's not like it's a. I'm gonna find a joke in everything. So it's not really
Absolutely.
pressure to be funny. I'm just being me, and people happen to laugh at it. So it's automatic. It's just an automatic thing.
Yeah. So you did a video recently with your wife. Are you
Hmm.
making this a family affair? Is she like down for the cause or are you like pulling her along the way?
She she I'm pulling, but she's down for me. So she'll help me as needed. Whatever I need, she's always there to help and support. So it's not her love. It's more the love for me, and so she'll do it. If I was selling balloons, my girl would be right there, with the helium tank. You know what I'm saying? That's how we roll.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's amazing that you have, somebody who's so supportive in your life. Because, like I said, I know for the arts, it can be hard for some people to get the support from their family. And yes, it's a little different now because of social media, right? You
Mhm.
have a little bit more control over your how much you're out there. Like, back in the day,
Mhm.
you used to have to hustle up on gigs and get your own name out there. And it's the same now. It's just a little bit different in that
Mhm.
um, you can put yourself out there as much as you want to and much as you need
Right.
to kind of get the exposure that
But
you
the
want or
support is
need. So,
definitely important. Support is
yes.
definitely important, though. I mean, it's important, but it's not the end all be all. I mean, you gotta
Mm-hmm. Mhm.
You got to just do it yourself. I mean, sometimes, I mean, God is always teaching lessons, through everything. So I just feel like everything is always a test. Everything is always a lesson. Everything is always for the greater good of my life. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I go through, whatever, if I feel I'm supported or I'm not supported, I mean, it's important to self check and just keep pushing. That's the best advice I could
Absolutely.
give anybody. Just keep pushing. And the only person, I mean, the only support that you really need, and it might sound cliche because of what we had, but it is God. That's the only like
Right.
that's it. Because everybody could turn their back on you. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
You could be alone. You was born alone. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
the only person that you really have, and a person that's always listening that you could talk to is God. And trust me, if you on this journey, you gonna call on him a lot.
Absolutely. And I think sometimes, and that's why I really wanted to kind of have you on. I think sometimes when people don't feel like they have what is called a traditional calling, right? Like if they're
Hmm.
not meant to preach or an usher or something in the doors of the church, that they
Hmm.
feel like they're not called by God. And I'm like, that's not
Right.
the case. You know,
Right.
those of us who are in ministry have a specific calling, but we still have a calling outside of these doors, right? So
Hmm.
either through our profession, um, anything, it could be any number of ways that we reach people for Christ that really has nothing to do with what most people consider traditional ministry,
Right.
you
Right.
know?
Right.
So I love what you're doing with the NOLA Bible version, and we're going to share another clip before I start to get into the questions about that because I know that people
Yeah.
are interested in that. Because well, let me share the story first. When I first, I don't know if I saw that first or
Mhm.
the video where you were like the angel watching.
All right. Yeah. Watching the
Yeah,
gate.
that one.
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
so hilarious to me. And during
Hmm.
COVID, I had COVID, my parents had COVID. It was
Sorry to hear
just, for a minute, it was a very tough time, right?
that.
So
Hmm.
to find something that can really kind of take your mind off of things, even if it's for 90 seconds, right? It makes
Hmm.
all the difference in the world. And when you said, man, I feel like it's the last season, when I say I fell out
Yeah.
laughing, it was just something
Yeah.
that you could really relate to. So
Hmm.
I don't know if I saw that first or your NOLA Bible version first. I
Hmm.
don't
I know
remember, but when I saw
that one
those,
came first. That
okay,
one
so I
definitely
saw that
came first
first.
though. All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I probably saw that first. And then when I saw the NOLA Bible version pop up, of course I watched it. And I was
Hmm.
like, this is dope. I love this. I love this concept. And I started tagging people. I was like, y'all got to see this because this is hilarious, but it's accurate, right?
Yeah.
So, what
Yeah.
better way to reach people like legitimately with the word of God through comedy?
Right.
And New Orleans, our culture is so unique
Hmm.
that who wouldn't like to watch something that's like right to us.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
thought that was really dope. And we are going to show another clip, and then we're going to get into the questions about how it came about, what made you do it, all of that good stuff.
All right.
So let's see if we can get that going.
Hearing the sounds not working.
So that was another one of your um,
I think the
skits.
sound
Your
wasn't working on it.
oh, I'm gonna work on it,
Yeah.
and if
All
I
right.
can, we'll get it to play
All right.
again. So, what gave you the idea to do this? What? How did you come up with the NOLA Bible version?
Read the Bible. Just the thought. I actually had another plan for it, and I had been sitting on it for a long time, and just sitting on it, and I really believe God just talked to me. It's like I heard
Mm-hmm.
it clear as day, and it was like, go and do it, just do it, because I was like, I don't have this, I don't have that, the way I wanted to shoot it, the way I wanted to do it, and I just went for it, and it was me reading the Bible. I got into reading the Bible a whole lot more through the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic, and just trying to read, understand. I have my dailies that I'll go through, and one of them just caught me, and I was just like, and me and my wife was going to Atlanta. I was just reading them, and I was like, man, I gotta do it, I gotta do it, and it was just weighing on
Mm-hmm.
me, and I just had to do it. And so I didn't expect for it to take like it did. I just had to do it. Like when God tell you you got to do it, you got to do it. And it sat on me, and I moved quick on it once I felt like God was talking to me. I had a plan for
Mm-hmm.
something similar, but it's not even what it became. It became something totally different. And God just talked to me, and He told me to go, and I went.
Now let me ask you this: what? How do you determine which passages you're gonna do? Do you kind of let the Lord lead you?
Definitely. Definitely. I often, I mean, I'll look for certain things sometimes, but the best ones are when it's just me just
Mm-hmm.
reading the Bible, flipping on something through the app most of the time. So I just
Yeah.
certain scriptures will pop up, and I'll just go from there, and then I'll hit read more, and I'll just get in, like when I really get into one, and I'll be like, oh man, I gotta do this one. You know what I'm saying? And they just talk to me.
Yeah.
So I feel more the pressure when I gotta put one out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I don't feel as genuine when I'm forced to do one. So I
Sure.
know people waiting on 'em sometimes, and they like, you know, do it, but you know, sometimes you gotta let the spirit move you. You know, wait for the spirit to
Yeah.
to move you. So
So talk about the preparation because, like I said before, you really, are good with the accuracy of the text. So talk a little bit about because I feel like that's almost like preparing a sermon. Like,
yeah,
you have to make sure that what you're presenting is accurate, and you do that very well. So talk about what preparation is like. I mean, I'm sure some people think, you just read a couple of, verses and
nah,
then you're good to go. But
well, no, well, my process, I like I said, I read the Bible a lot, and it's not for the skits. You know what I'm saying? I read it
mhm,
to just get me through. I feel like God gonna point me. I'm real spiritual. So I
sure.
just feel like God gonna lead me. So when I
Mhm.
open up that app, it's most of the time me going through something. Me going through something, me feeling some type of way, me feeling down, depressed, something of that nature, and get my mind off it and put me in a better vibration. And so from that, my mode just start clicking sometimes. And just like I said,
Mhm.
everything around me is comedy. It's nothing that I don't find to be somewhat comedy, you know, comical. So as I'm reading, most time it won't come to me if I'm looking for it. If I'm
Mhm.
looking for it, I won't get it. But
Sure.
just in me reading it, it'll pop in my head, and from there, I go in my little cave and I create. You know, I just go in my cave and just create from there. As far as the wording and how I do it, it just comes natural. I can't. I'm no lie. It just comes natural the way that it comes out, and I'm able to translate uh from Old Testament to Nola Bible. You know, so I just
Right.
when I that's when I'm reading it, that's how I hear it.
Mhm.
That's how I really that's how I hear it.
Mm.
When I hear when I visualize it, I can see it in my head, and I hear it in that voice. I hear it in like my mind is just translating what is being preached into a term where
That's
I
amazing.
understand it fast,
Mhm.
and that's how my mind works. And so when I put it out and everybody enjoyed it and felt the same way, I was like, you know, that brought joy.
Absolutely. So you are um everybody. You play everybody in your
Yeah,
skits.
yeah.
So this is basically a one-man show. How long does it take you to
Ooh,
shoot that 90-second clip?
a long time, a long time, a long time. I mean, people don't realize how much work into doing it. Oh man, it's a long time. It's a long time
Yeah.
doing it, and sometimes it takes a couple days to get it right, but
Mhm.
it's definitely hours, definitely
Hours. Absolutely.
hours, definitely.
So, okay, so you do the Nola Bible version and you have some other, like Christian skits.
Mhm,
But you also do what I mean, I would say secular. Um,
mhm,
you know, that's the
mhm.
term I use. Um, comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, let me ask you this first. What made you say? Because which did you start first? Let me say that.
Oh,
Which
regular
which one
comedy.
was
Just
first?
secular, secular, secular is first for me.
Secular.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely,
So what
definitely.
made you say, "Let
You know,
me
for a while you
dive
get bad in your mouth
into
for trying to joke about church. You know, you catch a swift hand from a grandmama. You know what I'm saying for
facts,
playing. So it was no
facts,
playing. It was no joking when it come to church.
facts,
No
facts"?
joking, no sleeping. So that was two rules.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah. So
So
if you
what?
did, you whispered.
Yes, you did. And then you laughed to yourself too,
You laugh to
or
yourself
excuse yourself
internally. Laugh.
to the
Yeah.
bathroom.
Hmm.
So what made you say, "Let me go over into Christian comedy"? Even like your little skit with the. When did you first do? Let's
it
back up. When did you first do Christian comedy?
When I first did Christian comedy, it was probably like 2014 was when I first did
Okay.
church comedy. Yeah, probably about that 2014, I would say. I first went in church and did church. Did a comedy show in the church. So that was through my partner Sheriff. He was
Mm-hmm.
into it. I knew Shotty had done churches. I had never done it. And so they pulled me in, and that's when I first started doing it. They was like reassuring that, man, it's no different. You know what I'm saying? It's just like
Right.
this. And 'cause it's a people have a belief that church people are a lot different. You know what I'm saying? Than everybody
Mm-hmm.
is regular people. So it's a level of respect that you got to have. And that's about it. But besides that, most times, uh, going into a church might be a little bit tougher doing it actually in the church versus it being
Mm-hmm.
a church crowd. I find that when it's a
Right.
maybe an event outside of church and it may be people that's really into church, they're a little bit looser when you do comedy outside
Mm-hmm.
of it, but actually doing it in the church, that's probably the most difficult. Because like I say, people not sure if they can laugh. It's like
Right.
so that's where it gets difficult. But um I didn't like go out seeking none of it. I didn't go out
Mm-hmm.
seeking to do church comedy. I didn't go out to seek doing church skits like I'm gonna start doing church skits. None of those things was like I was seeking to do. I was always kind of like offered an opportunity, or it just
Mm-hmm.
came to me to do it. And once I started doing it, it kept coming.
Yeah. And that's great. I know Sherv.
Hmm.
He hosted one of our um, events like 3 years in a row. And then
Yeah,
when we got ready to do the Christian comedy stand up, he was like, "Oh, I got y'all. I got y'all. I got some
yeah.
comedians." And it really went over really well. What does it mean to you to be received by, and I don't want to just say Christians, but people period. Like this is your art. This is what you do. This is what you put your heart into. So when you
Right.
go into a crowd, especially a church crowd, because like you said, we can be tough sometimes,
Mhm.
how does that feel to know that you're reaching people in a way that
Uh.
is so impactful?
All right. Well, it's it's always joyful to know that somebody receives what you do or what you work hard at in a
Mm-hmm.
positive light. That's always just it's humbling, you know.
Mm-hmm.
In every way. Whenever, even if I'm in church or if I'm in a nightclub, you don't get up there for people not to like it. You know what I'm saying? You get up there with the hopes
Right.
and dreams that people gonna enjoy it, that they're gonna like it, that they're gonna love it. And so you do get that back, man. It's the best feeling. You know what I'm saying? It's a job well
Sure.
done, and it's even more with church because I don't just get now, especially since the skits. It's not I get more appreciation out of people telling me how they read the Bible more now. Like I
Mm.
never thought that I'd be the reason that somebody
That's
picked up the
amazing.
Bible. I got a lot of people that's like, I mean, in my comments, in my inbox, like thanking me, genuinely thanking me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's overwhelming. I didn't, like I said, I didn't ask for that. I didn't think it would be like that, but to hear people saying that, to hear moms telling me that their children are watching it, that's 14 and 15,
Mm-hmm.
and how that makes them. I mean, I'm cutting kids, and they telling me how they might know they might not like church, but they love to watch my skits. You know what I'm saying? They
Mm-hmm.
they they love that. So I mean, to be able to serve, I mean, that's an overwhelming feeling. I
Absolutely.
never thought it would be me, doing that. So
Yeah.
that's yeah.
And so a few moments ago, you said, whether you're in a church or a nightclub, you want to be received, right?
Right.
So that
Mhm.
ushered us right on into our next question.
Mhm.
Um, Church people, I'm a church person, so I can say this.
Mhm.
We can be peculiar at times. We can be slightly judgmental. Not that we always come from a place of being malicious, but it's just we're human, right?
Right.
So, do you get people to say, well, how on one hand are you doing, you know, NOLA version of the Bible, and then on the
Mhm.
other hand, your other comedy is
Mhm.
not Christian?
Very much not. But
Let's be clear.
I mean, it's honest, and it's me.
Mm,
Um, I mean, I mean, I come from a church family too, but it's just me. People are people, and
mm,
I pray for understandings. I try not to go back and forth with that. I try not to give it too much attention. Um, and I try not to point a finger at nobody back either. You know what I'm saying?
right.
If everybody's entitled to their opinion, I understand how
Mm,
that works. But I can't let you stop me from doing what God told me to do. You know what I'm
right.
saying? I mean, like at
Absolutely.
the end of the day, I mean, I'm reaching somebody that you probably can't. So and I'm just being me.
Mm-hmm.
I try to do right, be right, live right in every walk of my life.
Absolutely.
That's all I can do. I'm not here to sit here and act like I know it all about the Bible, or I'm just all into this and that. I'm just doing what it is for me and what God put on my heart to do. So
Mm-hmm.
that's all I can do. I mean, and yeah, it gets judgmental, but then I can read the Bible and see a million things about why you shouldn't do that. So it's
Right.
it's odd to say that you're being judged, and that's like 101 not to judge. And
Right.
so
Right.
it's like but I understand it too. I mean, I come from a grandfather being a deacon, mama teacher Sunday school. I mean, I understand what that means, but
Mm-hmm.
it's well, I can't do nothing to change that. All I could do is be me and try to please the Most High.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And talking about coming from a family, that's involved in church, did your family have issues or do they have issues with
Nah,
your
nah,
non-Christian comedy?
no, no, not at all. My mom,
That's a
before
blessing.
she passed, she loved my comedy,
Oh, my
and
condolences.
my grandfather as well. They both loved it. Like I said, my family is was clowns. They are the
Hmm.
reason why I am who I am. So we all just humans, man. We all humans. I think the problem be that we put church and then we put people on pedestals that give us the word, and we
Hmm.
judge that person and not just be thankful for what they give us.
Absolutely.
Whether that's a pastor, a deacon, whoever is in the church, it's like you got to walk on tags, or else that goes. That's like it's like people banish the word off of your actions. The word didn't
Hmm.
change. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to
Absolutely.
do a job
Absolutely.
for God, and I mean, even when you look at Jesus hung out with some real ones. He hung out with some,
Right.
some hitters. So I mean,
Right.
it's I mean, what's the purpose of trying to teach somebody that already know?
Yeah.
Why would you? So yeah, my family is supportive in everything that I pretty much do because they know at the end of the day my heart is right.
Yeah. And I think that's dope to have a family that supports you. My family supports me, and I'm the one
Hmm.
in the family who's usually on to a venture. I'm always trying something and trying to, like you, hear the voice of God concerning
Hmm.
me and do what He tells me to do. But
Right.
sometimes to other people, it can make it look like you're on a wild goose chase when in all actuality you're listening to where God is sending you. And
Right.
sometimes even those things may not be what people deem successful, but God has a lesson in it for you. He has a plan in it for you. It may lead to something else, and people don't always understand that.
Right. We just
So,
all trying to figure it out. You know,
absolutely.
nobody has it all figured out. Nobody.
And even the people who we try to pressure to have it all figured out, right? The preachers, the
Right.
people in the
Right.
church, or even just public figures. It can be a lot
Right.
of pressure for people to know
Right.
your name.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
know?
All eyes on you. Right. That's a very scary thing. Because you could be condemned in the blink of eye. You praise one minute and condemn the next. So it
Yes,
is, and we all humans. Nobody is without sin. Nobody.
absolutely.
And all you can do is strive to keep on trying to be the best you God intended for you to be, and always self check. That's big for me. That's something that my dad kind of like is big on self check.
Hmm.
Even when you're mad at somebody else, just self check. What could I have done different? You start with that
Excellent
question.
lesson.
What can I do? What could I have done different? Even when somebody wronged you, how did I get to this situation? What did I do? That's a question that we good with saying
Absolutely.
what you did and how what you
Hmm.
didn't do. But a lot of times we don't want to ask ourselves, what could I have done? How could I have done this different? How could I, have I hurt somebody or did something wrong? And I'm not perfect at that either, but I try to
Hmm.
constantly remind myself that that's something that you got to do. You got to self check. You got to forgive and be like it is what it is and move on.
Absolutely. That's a really excellent way to live. And I think if more of us self-checked, the world would be a better place,
Right.
right?
Right.
And it can be hard because it's sometimes hard to take that honest look in the mirror at yourself and say, what do I need to change?
Right.
What do
Cause
I need to improve on?
and if you do that, I mean, you find that you got a lot. Everybody got a lot to improve on.
Right.
So you really don't have time to say what
Exactly.
somebody else needs to improve on or where they falling short. Because if
Absolutely
in the
right.
time that you're doing that, you steady falling short. You know.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
That's more of something you need to
Yeah.
fix.
Right. Right.
That is absolutely right. So we're going to go a little bit back to the NOLA Bible version. So tell me this: did the first video go crazy or viral, or
Man.
how did that happen? Did you wake up to like buku views? Like,
First video went ham, as they like to say. The first the first video, it was, and I can't. It's like this when you catch the spirit. It's like I was so
hmm
anxious. I was just amped. like I didn't know it was gonna pop, but I knew I had something. I knew it was that. I just and people took to it immediately.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel like it's ever been done, especially the way that I do it. It was
Sure.
new, it was fresh, and people just took to it immediately and
Mm-hmm.
wanted more immediately. Like soon as they was done watching it that day, they were asking me for another one. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So it took off immediately. I could say that. That's the one video that took off immediately.
So which one was your first? Which was your first NOLA Bible version video?
Uh,
Do you remember?
yeah, it was when Peter cut the ear off. That was my first one.
Okay, okay.
When
You
Peter
picked a
cut
good
the
one.
yeah, that was the first one. That was my first one. That was the first video I did. And like I said, me and my wife were in Atlanta. We went to go see our mom, and we shot it right in her backyard. And I was just
Oh
like,
wow.
I had to do it, and it was just like we did it in our
Mm-hmm.
backyard, and it was hilarious, and people just took to it. They really took to it, and it was that it was everybody taking to it. It was that it wasn't just
Mm-hmm.
church folk. It wasn't just it was I know these dudes hood. You know what I'm saying? I know it's the
Right.
hood. I know them I know you hood. I know you don't you probably ain't been to church since you got christened, boy. And they was loving it. That's what I'm saying. Those type people, that's what was
Sure.
joy for me. That when I see somebody that's a partner or somebody that I just know from around the way, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that they not into it like that, and they love it, and they
Right.
can't wait for it, and even when go check and read some of the Bible. I'm like, man, you read the Bible. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's it for me.
So, where do you see this going? What do you see it growing into? Now it's just, you know, I
I
think you don't do them long. You do them
no,
pretty short.
yeah, and it started. I mean, it was pretty for me when I first did it. I thought it was long because in the Instagram world,
Really?
2 3 minutes to
Right.
hold somebody's attention is a long
That's
time.
true.
Most videos, I mean, you talking 30 seconds to a minute. I mean, to hold
Mhm.
somebody attention through a whole video for 3 minutes, that's tough on Instagram and on Facebook. So
Sure.
for me, I really wanted it to be shorter at first, but I can't get a full message out in that time. So I
Right.
gotta at least kind of do 2 minutes, uh,
Yeah.
because I want to keep you engaged too. But
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah. So
So, do you think you're going to maybe package them or do like series, like preachers do series or
I got a few things that I'm moving towards and I'm doing. I am I tell you the truth. A lot of people like, man, you do it all. I didn't want to do it all. I still don't
I
like
hear
to
you.
do it all.
I hear
I
you.
did it all because I had to do it all. So, I mean, from acting out the roles to editing to shooting, I would much rather. Originally, I didn't even want to be in it. I would
Really?
have, yeah, and I enjoyed being behind the camera and writing a lot.
Mm,
But I was by myself, so I had to do it. And
sure.
now I can't not be in it. So,
Right.
but I have a few things, a few people that I'm talking to. I can't really disclose it.
Sure.
But I'm still open for other people. But there's some much bigger things that's now taking place. That I'm working on. And I hope
Mhm.
that I'll be able to premiere it sometime this year for sure. Uh, Hopefully more to the middle rather than the end. But
Mhm.
yeah, it's some things that I'm really working on, and some people have hit me up and want to work. So we in talks right now. We're trying to iron it all the way out.
Well, that's amazing. Anytime something that you do is well received and you know for sure that God orchestrated it, it's nothing better in the world to know that you're doing what you should be doing according to his will.
Right.
Yeah. So you are a barber. Will you ever quit totally and go into comedy?
If the finances and things get to that level, I mean, I will. I enjoy cutting hair though. I enjoy it really. But if I could and I could only be solely comedy, I would definitely. I also got some little monsters that gotta eat though, so
Listen,
I'm
I
juggling
understand.
both of those. Yeah.
So tell me this, Frank. People in the streets, like, do they recognize you and they're like, yo, like, are they stopping you? What
Man,
is
with
that
a
like?
mask and a hood on, I get stopped. I get stopped,
Really?
and I've been stopped in Walgreens, I used to wonder when people used to say, and no, by no means am I famous. I'm far from famous, but I used to wonder how famous people would say how they forget that they're famous,
Right.
and they'll be somewhere, and I can totally. I'm asking the lady something at Walgreens with a mask and a hood on, and she said, "Oh, you the boy that played Jesus," and I'm like, "Oh." I'm like, oh, and from the
Right.
grocery store, they had another lady that knew my voice. She couldn't recognize my face, but she recognized my voice. I mean, I get recognized a lot, more from that than anything else. And I have videos,
Hmm.
the actual Bible, the Bible skits that I do and the religious skits that I do. I've had more views off of other skits. I've had millions of views
Hmm.
off of different skits that wasn't religion, and the
Sure.
recognition that I got from the Bible though is I get way more recognition from that, and I've had way more views or quote unquote success off of my other comedy, and so
Hmm.
it's to see and be recognized, and I think it's just that it connects with people in a different way. It's a more memorable and a more connection with the Bible verses.
And having that level of celebrity, like, okay, I'm not anybody's celebrity, but people would know me from my dad, right?
Hmm.
So even if it's the fact that I look just like him, I've had
Hmm.
people to be like, I know you. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, we've never met.
Hmm.
You don't know me. You've never
Yeah.
seen me.
Uh-huh.
And then I let them try to figure it out, for a little
Hmm.
while. And then I'm like, do you know Bishop Wiley? And they're like,
Right.
yeah. I'm like, okay, well, I have his face, you know?
Right.
So um, I know there's a level of sometimes, it's not a bad thing. It's always nice when people, recognize you and stuff like that. But having that little level of celebrity can, you know, change just a trip to the store. So how does it
uh,
feel, you know,
it's
knowing that
weird.
okay, I'm about to run into the store, but this might mean I have to stop and talk to 5 people, and this is
Hmm.
going to take 20 minutes or
Yeah.
an hour
You
instead of
you
five
you you
minutes.
plan your list, you plan your route, and you get in and get out. Uh, and I
That's a
have
good
fun with
plan.
it. Yeah, I have fun with it. I get stopped. Now I had a lady that stopped me. She was real nice, real nice. But
Hmm.
I'm a clown. I couldn't help myself. So when she said she actually was helping me find something in the store, and then she
Hmm.
recognized who I was, and she was like, "Do you do such and such?" And I was like, "Huh? What you?" And she was like, "Do you? Because you just like this guy that." I said, "Nah, I don't even know what that is. What's that?" And she was like, "Oh, well, no offense, it's real funny, and I just thought you might have been him, And then I said, then I told her, "Man, that's crazy. You should have been there." And she just bust out laughing, So she was like, "That is," We had a conversation, and so it's most people that I run into, they don't mean no harm, and it's all good, and I enjoy it and appreciate it. But yeah, nobody don't want to get caught down bad. Sometimes you running in that store and you trying to not be seen, man. I got on
Yes.
this t-shirt and these little Jordan old shorts that I'm trying to run in here and run out, trying to get in and out of here, lady. I don't need nobody right
Recognizing me.
now. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
the time you get recognized. It's never when you
Absolutely.
suited and booted. It's always
Exactly. When you
when
waiting
you
for
try.
people to see you.
Yeah, yeah. Look, we didn't have no eggs. I just came here to get some eggs right quick, and
That's
they're gonna
it.
recognize. That's it. Yeah.
So Frank, tell me, I'm gonna actually ask you just a couple more questions. Um, what you can talk about? What do you have coming up that we should know about?
Mm.
What are some things that we can catch you on?
You can always catch me on comedian Frank White underscore. You can catch me at comedian underscore Frank White on Instagram. You can catch me on comedian Frank White on Facebook. But as far as me dropping the bomb of what's coming up next, I can't really
Okay.
say. But I really don't want to say. because I got other partners involved too. Now,
Absolutely.
and so I don't want to say that, but I definitely have some stuff coming up. I have some things coming up. I definitely have some things coming up. Some more visuals coming up. Some bigger visuals coming up.
Okay.
So that's bigger than what I've been doing, longer than what I've been doing. So we're working on that, and I am uh thinking to put other people in the NOLA Bible
Listen,
versions and stuff.
I'm
So
available. I can play
that's to
Mary.
come.
I can play Hannah. I can play Ruth. I
and
can
that's
play Mary Magdalene.
and I
Listen,
definitely need the female because one thing that I am not doing and I haven't done and I will not do because people have asked me to do. I am not dressing up like a female. I'm not. I'm not playing group. I'm not doing that. So therefore, I definitely will. I use a mannequin right now. I use a mannequin
right.
in my just to get that job done. I'm not
So for
dressing up like a
Samson's boo,
female.
she was a
The Samson boo, she
mannequin.
was a mannequin. So
Yes.
I definitely and the things that I come in, I will be recruiting other people. I had some people ask me to be in it. I'm gonna get with some of my people that I'm running it with, and I will be putting other people in it. Like I say, I love being behind the camera and directing.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to doing a lot more of that with it and some other things that I
Cool.
have to come. But I will be you'll be seeing more people involved um on a larger scale. Maybe not on Instagram, but you'll be seeing them on a
Sure.
larger scale when I get to production. So
That's really cool.
yeah.
So you were talking about young people earlier, that come into the shop and tell you that, they're reading the Bible and that they are interested now because of your videos. So if there was something that you could tell to a young person that's interested in comedy, um, what would be like some main things that you would tell them on how to get started, um, even how to
Um
find their inspiration? Like, what are some things that you would just tell a young comedian who wants to be Frank White?
uh you the money is not gonna come automatically. If
Mm-hmm.
you love it, you gonna have to work for free sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Uh um like I said, you have ups and downs and just do it. Just do it. Don't stand in your own way. That's something I gotta constantly remind myself of. You're not gonna be perfect. Um, all those doubts, erase them. You gotta visualize yourself being there before you there. And just if it's for you, it's gonna be for you, man. And and most of the times, the only thing that's different from a successful person and an unsuccessful person is the unsuccessful person stopped.
Mm-hmm.
They quit, they gave up. So if you want to do it, only it's time just gonna keep on ticking,
Mm-hmm.
and you're gonna keep on saying, if I would have started in 21, if I would have just started in 22, if I would have just did it then, you know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is. You got to just keep on pushing. So just jump out there, man. Jump out there, go look for it, go find comedy, man. Me and my partners that I got into comedy and I was doing comedy with. I mean, we all jumped in on our own free will, and we met
Mm-hmm.
each other. And some of us knew each other from New Orleans, Samoa. We already knew each other. I went to school with
Sure.
Sherv. I knew like Mario. We all just had people that we knew common, even if we didn't run together. But man, we were looking for comedy. We were looking online. We was going to Hammond, and it might be you got a sandwich for your comedy. Seriously, but man, we were there, and we was appreciative just to touch the mic. Um, so you know, and look, just keep going. If I could tell them, just jump in, get your feet wet. Whether it's telling jokes online or and right now it's tough because we're in a pandemic state, so you can't just
Mm-hmm.
go out and just do comedy places. But I say don't wait for somebody to put you on.
Right.
Don't wait. Don't wait for nobody to put you on. Put yourself on and just go. And just go. And no matter who stick with you or who fall off from you, know why you started it because you love it. If you don't love it, you're
Mm-hmm.
not gonna make it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, um, too, a lot of people feel like I'm too old to start something, or it's too late, or that, that's a dream that I used to have. And
Mhm.
that is something that I think we all kind of fight with, in different
Mhm.
areas of our lives. But if it's something that's still kind of rumbling inside of you, it's meant for you to get it out,
Right.
So there's something that circulates on social media that talks about, like some really big names and the age that they gained their success. And
Mhm.
it's all like 50 plus, or like at
Right.
least in their upper 40s. And I'm like,
Right.
well, the opportunity is out there as long as you have a passion for it and you're
Yeah.
determined to get out what God has put in you.
Right. I seen something. I read something today. And I think Steve Harvey said. He said, if you're going through hell, why stop there? Why would you stop in hell? Keep going.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? If you're going through it,
Absolutely.
why stop there? Just keep going. So I mean, you're never too old. I mean, I look at it. One of the, and because I feel like that with comedy sometimes, like, of
Mhm.
course, you always wish you would have started then, wish you would have did it then. Like I
Right.
said, I've been telling jokes my whole life, so I wish I wouldn't have had a certain image or thought. I mean, growing up in New Orleans, it was like you be tough, you be hard. Comedy wasn't a
Mhm.
thing for us at one time. As funny
Wow.
as you might be, it wasn't a thing. So,
Sure.
I look at somebody like Pops, that play in the Wayne's
Mhm.
Brothers. I've
Yep.
never known that man to be nothing but Pops.
Mhm. In
From the
every role he
Wayne's
played.
brother to, every role is the
Friday.
older role.
Yep.
Yeah, he's successful. He was successful
Mhm.
in his. So you never know when you'll break, what's your hit gonna be. At what time you gonna get your pop. I don't know
Absolutely.
Morgan Freeman for being a young lad. I know
Right.
Morgan Freeman for being Morgan Freeman. So man, if you got to just keep pushing. I didn't know young Red Fox as a comedian. But I knew
Absolutely.
I knew Red Fox, older Red Fox. So success is
Mhm.
success. Whenever it reaches, always a perfect time. It's like getting a check. No matter when that check come, is what is on time.
It's on time. Absolutely. Absolutely. Frank, I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to chat with me on Churchy Chats. I would love to have you back when we have our normal format, which is a panel, and we just chatted up about stuff, that's
Oh,
in the
love it.
news and all of that type of stuff.
I love it.
Um, yes, I would love to have you back for that more traditional churchy chat situation, but I'm glad I was able to have you to talk about NOLA Bible version, to talk about, where the inspiration came from. I've been inspired by it the first time I saw it. I was like,
I
man, this is
appreciate it.
so dope.
I
This is so
appreciate you.
dope. I
And
loved
I'm
it.
gonna have you on my show when my show comes. I have a podcast coming,
Listen,
but hey, I look, I just dropped the bomb on you. So you're gonna have to come on
see?
mine. I got one in the hole, so you're gonna have to come on mine. That's only
Come
fair.
on.
All right.
Come on. Come on. You got that. You got that. So you did tell us where to find you on Instagram, but just one more time, tell us Instagram, Facebook, and are you on TikTok?
I believe I have an account, but I'm not on TikTok like that.
Okay.
I
Okay.
need to be. That's bad, Frank. But I'm not like that. So I actually got on TikTok because somebody else was using my stuff. So, but I'm comedian underscore Frank White. And that's on Instagram. I'm comedian Frank White or Frank White on Facebook. Um, and all my stuff is comedian Frank White. You can find me on pretty much every platform. And so as well as my YouTube comedian Frank White. You can check out some of my previous stuff, whether it's church or it's not church, whether it's religious or not religious. And thank you guys. I also have my apparel out, which is the NOLA
Okay.
Bible version. You can look that up, or you can go on my Instagram. The link is in my bio. But we also have that, and from my previous movie, Seafood Gangster, that has some of your favorite comedians as well as myself and local comedians out of New
Okay.
Orleans, like Corey with a K, Shervy, Shotty Feel Good. We got a lot of other comedians and funny people in in there. So that's about
Now,
it.
Frank, is that a digital or is that something like a DVD that we, well, I know I
Oh, you
sound
can go on
ancient.
you could go on YouTube and type in Seafood Gangster, and
Okay.
that was a short film that I did. I was the writer, director, and creator of that, and and you can check that out.
Okay, and last thing, if people want to book you, if they want you on their show, they want you at their church,
You gotta
how do they do that?
slide in my DMs. You slide in my DMs, or you can hit me up at frankwhite2825 at yahoo.com. Once again, that's frankwhite2825 yahoo.com. Mostly though, it be you do better direct messaging me on Facebook or Instagram. Those two ways I probably will get back to you the fastest.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you again,
All right.
Frank. I appreciate your time. I
Thank
appreciate you
you.
coming and chatting it up
I
on
appreciate
Churchy
you
Chats with the Church Girl.
for
And
that
like I
church
said, I'm gonna have you
girl.
back for real. So don't be
All right.
ignoring my DMs when I hit you
All
back.
right, all right, and we got to throw another comedy show in there. Tell pops we got to get back in there and tear the roof off again. We got to do it.
Listen, we are opening the church soon, so that is
Uh
very
oh,
plausible. Yeah.
We
So
got to
I'm
get the
excited
band back
about
together.
that. Yeah. That would be really cool. So we're gonna get that in the works as well.
All right. Well, thank you for having me.
Thank Absolutely. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the second episode of the second season of Churchy Chats. It was all as always a super fun show. I hope you will tune in next week where we have Elder Mark Moore, who is the founder of Young Leaders Conference. I'm very excited to chat it up with him. And he's a fellow PK, so you know it's going to be a real churchy chat. And as always, you know you can catch us right here, same place, same time on Churchy Chats with the Church Girl. Good night.